dropped down 2 places. Since the start, round the outside line goes Danny, who now goes for the race lead, but he's fighting back on Thrive for Life in a minute, and the Red Bull just about holding his position. And here for round 5 is going to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Malou wins here in Baku. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to IFR for the 3rd round of this season. You join us here in Imola for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and we have, I believe, 18 drivers joining us. 16 actually, it's looking like. 16 drivers here then for a short qualifying session and then a 50% race. We also have a short race intro in between and some post-race interviews after the stream. So about an hour and 25 minutes of action coming your way then here from Italy, and it is TSMO, the quickest driver so far. If I remember correctly, TSMO did win the first race of the season. The second race, unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend, but I was here for the first, and it was dominated well by TSMO, who I believe won out in Silverstone for the first race of the season. We come here to Imola then for the 3rd round, ladies and gentlemen, and as I mentioned, qualifying first of all. Thank you very much to Don Pedrito in the chat for the sub with Prime. I appreciate that very much indeed, mate. Good to see you in the chat this evening. But yeah, we do have 16 drivers here with us tonight. It is TSMO, the quickest at the moment, the 1 minute 14.5 here in qualifying. Separated very closely by 600ths of a second then is Claplan in second position then in the McLaren, and he is sandwiched in by another Ferrari of Lerchi then. He's 2/10 of a second behind Claplan, and then the times slowly start falling back. But 6 drivers here today have set times, and we are waiting on everybody else to do so, but still very early stages. 12 minutes remaining of this session, and these sessions, they are very, very important, of course, to set the quickest time that you can do. It is quite interesting to see, of course. Qualifying is much different to race pace, and a driver can be so quick in qualifying, but then compare it to their race pace and it'll be completely different. So in my opinion, I've always stood by qualifying doesn't tell you everything you need to know for the upcoming race, and I believe that'll be the same case for today, apart from the odd few of TSMO and Claplan, who we saw in the first round of the season were absolutely rapid, of course, and I believe we're going to see that again because, you know, what drivers they are. Absolutely brilliant. Into the pit lane there for Pepis, who will be going around again soon, but Marco Polo in the Williams is currently sat in P5. We're going to look for some drivers on laps. I think Luco might be on a lap around. Here he is. Then the McLaren. No, my apologies. Sorry. No, it's Levexi in P11. He is quickest in the first and second sector for himself. It is a personal best at the moment then. They're not looking too bad then for the kick as he makes his way around the final few corners then and towards the line, ladies and gentlemen. Here he goes then. Levexi crosses it. He does take P5 on his first lap around with 11 minutes remaining. Not bad indeed for the kick Sauber, who crosses the line with a fairly decent time. We're going to go down the order to, I believe, Chris LV, who should be on a lap around. He is. It is personal best in the first and second sector. Final sector to go. And the Mercedes claims second place, front row of the grid with 10 minutes remaining. That is a beautiful time from the Mercedes then. A 1:14.504. Is it identical time to the Ferrari on pole? Identical pole times from TSMO and Chris LV. Wow. You do not see that very often. Pole position is taken by 2 drivers so far. It is absolutely bang on the same time between TSMO and Chris. It is so hard to do that, and these 2 drivers have managed to pull it off today. Not many times in a race you see that. You do not see that often at all. It was early last year, I believe, that I saw something like that, and I commentate a lot of races through the week. So this is quite a crazy, crazy moment then here in IFR. We do not see things like that very often, but the Ferrari currently of TSMO on pole. He took that time first. That means that he's quickest. But look at that then from Luco. He's now on pole position by 800ths of a second faster for the McLaren, who finds time. Now the McLarens are 1 and 4. Make a good improvement. Thank you very much for the follow, Marco Polo. I appreciate that, mate. But a lovely time for the McLaren then. He did set the fastest second sector. It is fastest second sector for Luco. TSMO takes the first sector and Lurchi takes the third sector. But the fastest overall lap then taken by Luco in the McLaren. He's set a beautiful time, but to be fair, he hasn't got a lot of breathing room between him and TSMO and Chris LV as well, who have set identical times. These drivers are going to have to start stepping it up here in qualifying. 8 minutes to go, and I understand these were some of the first times around, but now the times have to start stepping up, and they are very close at the top. It could be anybody's taking then here in qualifying with 8 minutes remaining, and drivers making their way around the circuit then at the moment here in Imola. What a track it is, one that isn't on the Formula 1 2026 calendar anymore. Is off the side of the track there goes one of the drivers moving out of the way for TSMO, who is quickest in the first and second sector here then, and he's looking really quick indeed, looking really, really good, making his way down in towards the final few corners then, and this Ferrari could absolutely be on for a pole position here. Only nearly about 900ths of a second separate him and Luco. Crossing the line now is the Ferrari. He regains pole position by nearly 3/10 of a second. What a time that was then. Only provisional, but TSMO does find the time to get himself quicker. However, his final sector wasn't too good. 24.9. It was decent, but not a personal best and not fastest. So not ideal for TSMO, as he does take the fastest overall lap, takes the fastest first and second sectors, but the final third snatched by his teammate. The fastest lap and sectors dominated so far by the Ferrari drivers. In the chat, hi Jack, heard what happened with CPG F1? Yeah, it's a shame, mate, it really is. Won't be there on Mondays anymore, so I've got that free day. It is a shame. CPG, I've been with them for, must be over a year now, a long time, but, you know, things happen, unfortunately. But here in IFR then, ladies and gentlemen, about 7 minutes remaining of your qualifying session, and it has been massively dominated by the Ferrari drivers here today so far. Luco not too far off the pace then by nearly 3/10 of a second there, as we're going to look for some laps, see who's on their way around. Chris crosses the line in P3 then, 1:14.5 on an improvement, but still holding third place this evening. Many drivers on their laps around now at the moment then, some green and some personal bests, especially here from Lurchi then, who is on the lap around and improving at the moment. Can he continue this form through the rest of this lap then? We'll find out. It's not looking too bad. Personal best in Sector 1, a 23.7 then. It's about 400th of a second of an improvement over Chris's first sector. So this is looking strong. The second sector, a 25.852. Not too bad either. It is a personal best once again for the Ferrari, who makes his way round and in towards the final few corners then. Could this be a front row for Lurchi, who has dominated the timing tower so far? Lurchi over the line in the Ferrari. It's only good enough for P4. Does make an improvement. He also finds the fastest final third, but Lurchi only good enough for second row of the grid and the back of it too. Behind Chris LV here then. And with 5 minutes remaining of qualifying, the Ferrari of Lurchi, I was expecting him to be higher than that, but not enough, unfortunately. But Lavexi then runs in P7, and we'll see what they're doing now. I believe Lavexi starting the lap then. He is. Here we go then, on towards a flying lap with the kick Sauber, making his way all the way down in towards the first corner. It's a 1:15.1 on time, and he should be on the lap around now. We're going to keep watching this. His battery's draining down now, so I believe he is, and pushing the car to the absolute limits here in Imola. It is one of those tracks where, you know, you can't help but get excited when you come to it. It is such a brilliant and historic track too, and it's a shame that it's not on the Formula 1 calendar anymore. It really, really is, but we do still have it here on the F1 game, and we are still going to make best use of it while we can. Lots of great races we've had here, and off the track for Lavexi there, narrowly missing the barrier. A 1:15.1 is his quickest qualifying time, only P7, and now he's ruined a fairly decent lap around after just about catching the car and narrowly missing the barrier. Lavexi still's going to have to hold for 7th position then. He does have time to go round again, but it is going to be really tight, and he's going to cut it very short, making his way over the top of the hill now then, and down towards the pit lane, I can only assume then. Maybe to get some new soft compound tyres on. He'll have 100% battery to go on another lap. He goes into the pit lane now, just as said, and Lavexi will be going round again, but with no margin for error, because there will be no time left at all. This is going to be very busy in the final few minutes then, ladies and gentlemen. 3 minutes left of qualifying here in IFR, here in Imola, and it is TSMO in the Scuderia Ferrari, currently looking to be quickest, currently looking to be the driver on pole position. He currently is, with a 1:14.128, and nearly 3/10 of a second over Luco here in qualifying. Luco P2, Chris LV 3, Lerchi, TSMO's teammate, lines up in 4. A whole 4/10 of a second off of his teammate here. Both of them giving it everything as well. So some clear pace drop there from Lerchi, who needs to find a bit of time if he wants to be on that front row of the grid with his Scuderia Ferrari teammates here in that team's home country as well. As drivers now finally starting to exit the pit lane, and we are going to get it once again. The final few times of qualifying are going to start rolling in. 2.5 minutes remaining of qualifying. It's Chris running in P3. Mike Pro retires from the session down in P12 then. Will not be making any more improvements here today. Then that'll be the end of his lap and mark the end of his qualifying session. 2 minutes left, and these are your final times of the day. Who will take pole position come qualifying end? Drew joins in the chat. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Good to see you in here for IFR on the Saturday evening with 16 drivers, ladies and gentlemen, and 1 minute and 50 to go. TSMO currently on provisional pole here in qualifying, and only a couple of minutes remaining. They need to get it absolutely bang on right. Any mistake and there's no time to go for one more lap. Is this a new one? Yeah, brand new league, Drew. We started it 2 weeks ago. I'm not doing it every Saturday, but I'm doing it when I can. And it's actually been a really good league so far. I believe most of the drivers here are Polish, unless I might have got that wrong. Or it might be, I can't remember. I think it's Polish, but I will find out at some point. But first of all, qualifying is about to conclude. Here we go then, ladies and gents. The final few times are going to start. TSMO, I believe, on an outlap. I think Chris is starting one. Yes, he is. Burning his battery down in towards turn 1. Here we go then. This is his final run of the day. And with about 4/10 of a second then behind pole position, he has got a chance of taking pole here, but that chance might just be quite slim. TSMO has been on the ball all night long, and at the moment, ladies and gents, he's going to do his best, but I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be enough. Let's see which way it goes. Drew, I did see something about it, but I've got no idea. I don't understand it, to be fair. I really don't. But Chris, fastest sector 2 then. It is a personal best sector 1, and now fastest in the middle sector. He is looking quick at the moment. Is the Mercedes going on for pole position this evening and finding time over TSMO, the man that's been unbeaten all night long so far. Can the Mercedes now finally take the fight to the Scuderia Ferrari over the line? Chris goes on to provisional pole at the end of qualifying by only a few hundredths of a second. That could be very easily taken away by TSMO then, who is now quickest in Sector 1. Let's go to Luco actually quickly, who is more likely to finish his lap first. He's running in P3 with a fastest middle sector so far, a 25.4. His first sector, a 23.6 then, a tenth of a second down on TSMO, who's improving in that first sector. Luco towards the line here in qualifying then, across the line today. He now goes to provisional pole at the end of quali, and now all eyes to TSMO in the Ferrari here in this team's home country. Can the prancing horse take pole position tonight? TSMO over the line. He does take it back, and nobody was in doubt at all. The Ferrari takes pole position here in Italy. What a time that was from him. Unbeatable all night as well. So 1:13.946. He's only took pole marginally, but he has taken it, and that is all that matters. Absolutely brilliant from him. Well, here is your finishing results then, ladies and gentlemen. TSMO takes pole position at the end of that brilliant qualifying session. Luco takes second place then from Chris LV in third, Lerchi 4, from Claplan 5, Lavexi P6, Pepe 7, Don Pedrito 8, Noah 9, and it is Marco Polo in P10. Next up is your Grand Prix. The race intro for IFR is coming up just next. Has dropped down 2 places since the start. Round the outside line goes Danny, who now goes for the race lead, but he's fighting back on Fry for life at the minute, and the Red Bull just about holding his position. Here for round 5 is going to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Malou wins here in Baku. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we go into the third round of the season here for IFR, and we have a very quick driver on pole. I'm not entirely sure what happened with the second race of the season, but the first round, he was the dominant force. Oh, man, it sounded like you were doing well, Drew, to be fair. P5 is very good. Towers was very good. I'm going again on Monday. I'm going back on Monday. We're going quite a lot at the minute because we've got passes for it. I might do, Drew. I'm definitely going to have a look at it. Definitely have a look. But, ladies and gents, should be going soon. We shall find out. We've got a 50% race coming your way, and then, of course, we do have your race interviews, post-race interviews for the top 3 finishing drivers. That's going to be quite interesting. Yeah, you too, Drew. Good to see you. Going to be nice to have the time off, but it is 7:27 in the UK at the moment, and we are waiting to get on with the Grand Prix. One thing I do like about this league is they got on with it very nicely indeed, and you know what? It is a great league. It really is. First race I came in, you guys got it absolutely brilliant for the first round of the season. Like I mentioned, wasn't here last week because I was out, but back again this week, and it's going well so far. It really is. Yeah, Drew, we'll take a look in a minute. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, on the grid this evening for the Grand Prix. I don't know why that's just come on the screen, my apologies. Here we go then, it is lights out and away we go. TSMO off the line, brilliantly off the line from the McLaren in second place. All the way down in towards turn 1 we go. Who's going to take it here? Then a brilliant fight in towards the first corner. TSMO still holds it then. Luco up to second place. It is Chris third then. Lurchy running in 4. Clapland 5. Then P6 is Pepe's then. Comes Noah in P7. But a great and clean start from the drivers. Once again, TSMO gets a great start, the same as he did in Silverstone, and gain that gap. He's doing it again, and it is absolutely brilliant so far. We look towards the gap behind then, and we've got some overtakes here. It is Noah He looking for up the inside line. Not enough there. Off the track there goes the Haas car, though. And now Noah can take advantage up the outside line. Noah into P6 as Pepe's loses a bit of wing there. A bit of contact from the backside of the Alpine as the front left end plate gets damaged. And Noah now losing time. He's going to lose a lot of time because of that. He's going to have to try and wrestle the car through the corners now because of that loss of aerodynamics then on the car. But it's lap 1 of 32 and side by side in towards the final 2 corners. Chris in second place, just about holding it then. Luco into third place. Here we go, running it down in towards turn 1 down the main straight here in Imola. It's the Mercedes against the McLaren in towards turn 1. Who's it going to be? Chris with the inside line with the advantage at the moment. Out of the race now is Beast, retiring from the session, I believe, in the pit lane. But a great start, an absolutely brilliant start for the drivers. There's TSMO fighting up at the front to to extend that gap as far as possible. He is absolutely rapid, and we've seen it, week in, week out. He's doing it again today, starting on the hard compound tyres. A bit of a different strategy to some, but there is some that are doing the same thing then on those hards. So we'll see how the strategies pan out today then, as of course some are going to work better than others. But end plate damage then on one of the cars. We've got early damage, which is just a shame. Messes the race up for the drivers you know, this early on. But on the whole, a decent start. Locking up into the left-hander. Off to the gravel now for Pepys as Greed is going to get quite greedy here for a position, making his way through into P9 now ahead of the Haas. A great pass on the Haas as the Aston Martin try and hold his place. Great move as Pepys is going to have to hold back now. Marco Polo gaining in P11. He's going to look for the inside line. Marco now for a move on the inside. Contact made and he gets spun around. It was contact in towards the left-hander there into the chicane. Marco Polo now gets to experience the consequences. Pepys off on the track now in front as well. Pepys in P14. Now to 15 as he loses a place. Marco Polo gets in front now. Seb as well is having issues. Seb dropping down to the back of the grid. What is going on this evening? Drivers just dropping places. Anyway, TSMO once again still in front. Chris P2. Lurchy now running in P3. And Lurchy up one place since the start. Luco down 2 there after starting in second place this evening. Now losing places, unfortunately. So not going exactly how he would have planned. Also in the chat, if you're still there, the Elixir Motorsport, thank you very much for the follow, guys. Appreciate that very much indeed. Oh, into what's turn 1 then. Here we go. Chris is putting a fight to the race leader. Chris into P1 ahead of the race leader now. Who was expecting that? Both prancing horses now in 2 and 3. The Ferraris together. It is Luco down to 4. Trying to hold on as much as he can. It's 2 Ferraris in 2 and 3. 2 McLarens in 4 and 5. Christo, the sole Mercedes, up at the front, leading this Grand Prix with 2 places gained since the start. And no warning to his name at the moment. He's running really nicely. Just has to try and keep this lead. At the moment, I don't believe he has any car damage. He doesn't. He is looking all good, and tyre temps and wear are looking very nice indeed for 4 laps in. He's looking really strong at the moment and definitely in a position to hold this place. But we know how fast this Ferrari is behind him, and also Lurchy too. And with the help of, you know, these guys battling, Lurchy is going to be able to really get closer now to these guys up at the front. And once in that DRS range, anybody is capable. So this is going to be a really interesting fight. Lap 5 now of the Grand Prix begins. We cross the line with the drivers. Chris leads, but for how long? Here comes one Ferrari. Round the outside line he goes. He gets the lead again. Does TSMO. Chris drops down to 2. Lurchy now still running in 3, watching this unfold, but he will be within DRS stand when he gets it open. Now gaining on the Mercedes. Not enough for a move just yet, but on the backside of him, and if he can, you know, maximise the exit through these corners and the entry too, he is going to close in on him, which he's doing at the moment. You can see on the interval there, he's only 0.3 of a second behind this Mercedes and absolutely flying at the moment. This is looking good for the Ferrari. Just has to keep it up, just has to keep it going. But he's right on the rears of him, and that was a slide there. That was a nasty slide for the Mercedes. If you've just caught that, Lurchy trying to gain, but a bit of a slide for the Merc. But no outstanding penalties for anybody just yet. A few warnings and a lot of drivers to the back of the grid that are very near warning zone. But the guys at the front are pretty much all clean. That is your first penalty then. Mike Pro picks up a 3 as we go with Lurchy down the main straight then, everybody. This is looking good for him. 0.2 of a second behind. The DRS is activated, of course, to help him make a move here. Can't get through just yet. And he has got the McLarens now on his backside. Just trying to force him into a bit of a mistake, possibly. You know, and they're doing a good job of it so far, putting on the pressure. This is some really good action from the front, ladies and gents. Great driving from everybody here at the moment. But that one Ferrari of TSMO once again dominating. And, you know, the exciting thing about this for him is he's on the hards. And, you know, the 2 mediums behind him are clearly a bit slower than him. So he definitely holds the advantage at hand in terms of strategy. He just has to make it work then as time goes on. When the pit stops come in, he has to make it work. But I'm sure he can. He's very good at gaining gaps, and at the minute, already 1.2, he has managed to accumulate. Chris in P2 then, Lurchy 3, Clapland 4 then with his teammate Luco trying to look for a move there. He locks up in towards the left-handed as Clapland. Luco right on the backside, then ready for an overtake when possible. Gaining as much as possible here then. The two McLarens might be having a bit of a scrap soon then. They're right with each other down the main straight on lap 7. But here comes the Ferrari of Lurchy then. It is going to be a Ferrari 1-2 at the moment. Through past Chris, who slides on the exit, and now at a bit of a worrying point in this race for him because Clapland's gained. The McLaren is right to the backside, and this is going to help Luco gain as well. Both of the McLarens moving as a pairing, and now they're right on the backside of Chris, who might just be starting to struggle. We've got a retired driver. The Mercedes down in P13 is out of the Grand Prix, I believe, in the pit lane. As he is now out on lap 7 of 32. Sebi in the pit lane on some brand new soft compound. But a great start to the Grand Prix where we see the two Ferraris lining the front row at the moment, 1 and 2. They are absolutely flying. And the prancing horses could be taking a race win in their home country, which is what they want to do. What a great track this is then here in Italy. But this is a great move then. Look at this then, ladies and gentlemen. All the way down in towards turn 1 we go. Clapland gets ahead of Chris. Luco gets ahead of Chris for a brief moment in time. The Mercedes tries to fight it back, but not enough fight in him. And the two McLarens now sneak through to 3 and 4. Chris has lost out so much in the last few laps. And going from the race lead to P5 is going to, hurt quite a bit. It's going to sting for Chris. But the 8th lap of the Grand Prix at the moment. And we are 1/4 of the way into this Grand Prix. It does go fairly quickly. Sebi then with a 3-second time penalty. For multiple warnings. That'll be 3 warnings. As Marco Polo now retires as well. And we don't have a safety car through that, but another driver now marks himself as out of the Grand Prix. It is a shame to see. We've got 3 people not in this race anymore and only 13 left with us for this Grand Prix. It is a shame, but we are fighting down towards turn 1. Look at this then, with the drivers, the McLarens and the Ferrari. Lurchy, Clapland and Luco into turn 1. It is Clapland into second place. Lurchy 3. Luco now fighting, and the two McLarens could be taking 2 and 3 here if they keep it up. Luco right on the backside of the Ferrari here, looking to put pressure on him, which he's already doing because you've just seen Lurchy's back end snapping out then. He must be getting a little bit nervous with one McLaren getting past, the other one right on the backside. It's going to be worrying time for him. But he has to get his head screwed on straight and he has to get this right. He has to be calm and not let, drivers behind him get the better of him. Well, TSMO then with 2.2 nearly seconds ahead of Clapland. As the two McLarens then do line up 2 and 3. Lurchy 4 and the Ferrari sandwich in the McLaren drivers. as we watch them race around this beautiful historic circuit on lap 10 of the Grand Prix. And we do have 22 remaining laps left. Lap 11 begins, then we head down in towards turn 1. The two McLarens looking feisty in 2 and 3. Still, TSMO running away with it by 3 seconds now. We look to behind, and we possibly have something here. Noah right on the backside of Greed. Not enough for an overtake just yet, but he is definitely there with him. 7/10 of a second adrift. Pepe's runs in 9. His teammate, Don Pedrito, down in 12, and unfortunately, both of them not doing too well in this race at the moment. It is a shame to see. Pepe's and Don Pedrito, of course, from the Extinguished Motorsports League that I commentate on the Wednesdays. What a league that is. Brilliant league. But they come here and unfortunately not going the way they'd like to be. Blocky joins in the chat again. Hello, mate. Good evening. Welcome in to the stream. Glad to have you back in here with us. But we are 13 drivers, with us. We are lap 11 now, on to lap 12. 16 will be our half race distance, ladies and gentlemen. And after that, we will be speaking to the top 3 finishing drivers. So I'm looking forward to that. Lurching the pit lane then, here we go. First pit stop's coming in. The Ferrari goes in with a 3-second stop for brand new hards. Chris in with a 2.2-second stop on hards as well. Both drivers coming out. Blocky, good to see you in the chat, mate. Thanks, Howie. I'm very good, mate. I'm very good indeed. Hopefully you are doing good as well. But the first load of pit stops have came in, and TSMO at the moment, if he went into the pit lane, he would rejoin in 6th position at the moment. And his pit window, it is lap 9 to 14, apparently. But I don't believe that, to be fair. I think he's going to go longer. He's got myself a wheel and trying it. Oh, what wheel have you got, mate? What wheel have you managed to get? Sounds really good, that. Noah He with a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately. The penalty's just racking up then for the drivers this evening. There's a black and white flag now for Don Pedrito for cutting a corner. That's another warning to him, as Don down in P12 with 4 warnings to his name and a 3-second time penalty. So that is not what he wants to be getting, is it, at all? But hopefully he can try and claw it back a little bit. Lap 13, TSMO leads by 3.5 seconds at the moment. His rejoin position still P6. And his tyre age, currently 12 laps old, so we'll find out. In the chat, Noah predicted P2, always overestimating his. Now, if you are watching, make sure you set a reasonable goal. Moser R3, I'm a beginner and I think it's pretty good. Mate, that is brilliant. Moser R3, good stuff, mate. Really good stuff. Hopefully you enjoy it. I do have a wheel myself, but don't always get the chance to actually race. I would love to, but not always got the time on my side, unfortunately. But if you're in the chat, hopefully you're having a good evening then. Put in some race predictions. Who do we think is going to win this Grand Prix? It might be looking easy to pick right now, but you never know which way something's going to go. All it takes is the Ferrari up front to make a mistake, and you know, and it's over. It is over as he makes a move then past the Red Bull, sorry, of Seb, as Lavexi and Greed and Noah now all in the pit lane, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting more drivers in soon as well, I bet, but they are coming in now. Lavexi P6, and he will be coming out in a minute. 2.2 seconds stop. Greed at the same, and Noah too. What wheel have you got? I've got a Thrustmaster T300, I believe it's called, with a Ferrari. I actually can't remember what it's called. Ferrari Italia something. Wheel mod or wheel add-on. So it's quite nice. Tissimo easy win. Claplin's going to take P2. It's a good shout. It is a good shout indeed. I can see why you say that, to be fair. Claplin's looking good, and to be fair, he's been putting on the pressure behind Luco today. He really has, and it's impressive to see, to do this for so long. Heading around turn 4 then, with the drivers. Lap 15 of 32, 1 lap away from half race distance. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Blocky. Absolutely are with that comment. But we go to TSMO then. And his rejoin position now has changed to 3rd place. So he's looking in a great place, isn't he? His pit window was saying lap 9 to 14, but we know him. He's going to take these hards as long as possible, and he's running them very long indeed at the moment. We're going to go round onto half race distance in a moment's time. And it's going to be exciting to see when he actually decides to make a pit stop, because, you know, it's him and a few others on the same strategy. Luco and Claplin are doing the same, right behind him, as well as Mike Pro, I believe. And I think that's pretty much it on the same strat. So 3 others then on the same strategy. It's Elixir Motorsports. Double Haas incoming. Holy delusion. Anything could happen, but it looks quite far gone to have Don Pedrito and Pepe's on a 1-2 finish. But it would be good, wouldn't it? I would love to see Don Pedrito and Pepe's do well. I really would. Wish them the absolute best. Hopefully they get their chance at some point, because great drivers they are. But it just shows the competition that you get. You know, in leagues like this, very quick drivers indeed bring the competition. I also want to mention as well, just while we've got a bit of a quiet point in the race, if anyone's in the chat that is interested in possibly getting into motorsport commentary, I have actually started up a server. It's a bit of a course with, there's about 8 lessons in there, and meant to be a bit of a community where, you know, aspiring commentators can all come together and get advice from me and a few others on their work, you know, lift each other up and get some good experience through it. But if it's something you're interested in, please let me know, because I can send you an invite and get you involved. Elixir Motorsport, how much? Are you talking to me? Is that about the commentary? How much would it all be? Well, because we've just started, for the first 10 or 15 people that join, I am doing it for £10, which is a one-time fee. And you pay £10 and you get all 8 lessons separated into 3 modules. And there's weekly calls, and there's a lot going on in the server. So if you're interested, mate, I'll send you a Discord link and we'll get it sorted. But it's a great community already with a few people in there. So it should be good. Let me know if you're interested, mate. Luco in the pit lane then. He's on the mediums. Luco goes onto the medium compound tyre after finally making a pit stop, going long on the hards. He's the first of the hard runners to do it. Dan, when you're done with that, please can you send me a link? Is it in your Discord bio? Because I can join it now. I can just send it you while commentating, mate. It's very easy. Don't worry. I believe I've got you as a friend. We'll have to find out. Elixir Motorsport, send me a message on Discord so I know what your name is, and I will send you a message. But I appreciate your interest, mate. There's 3 people in there so far. Only started yesterday. Actually started talking about it yesterday to people. All the course is finished, so you know you're allowed to get in there now and have a look and get involved. Clapland then in the McLaren pits as well as TSMO. Pit stops coming in. Seb with a 13-second time penalty, but TSMO comes out on the mediums as well as Clapland then. Both drivers, ladies and gentlemen, coming out of the pit lane now with brand new tyres on those cars. Lap 19 of 32 then this evening, and we have had our pit stops. This should be final then. It is Chris LV as your leader on the hard compound. Been on them for 7 laps then. He could potentially take these till the end, but they would be fried. I don't think that's going to happen. So it's looking like a pit stop for him and Lurchy later on. CSMO looking to be on the current provisional race lead. But Chris, does hold the fastest lap as well. And here's TSMO. You can see him gaining right on the backside of him, ready for an overtake. He looks up the inside, ladies and gentlemen, trying to make a move here. Can this Ferrari get through past the Mercedes? No, he cannot. And TSMO just having to hold back behind, unfortunately. But we know how fast this driver is, and when he finds a gap, he will absolutely take it. He really will. We know what he's capable of, and with 12 laps remaining, here comes TSMO. The main straight is coming his way, and he's ready to pretty much kickstart the celebrations of being the race leader again, because we know he's going to do it. Look how quick he is on the exit then, gaining on Chris. He's going to make this move look very easy indeed. Round the outside line, the Ferrari goes forward again. TSMO leads the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. The Ferrari back again in front by half a second now already over Chris. He's absolutely slingshotted himself through. Lerchi 3. It is Luco running in 4. 5 is Clapland. P6 Lavexi. Greed. P7. 8 Noah. 9 Don Pedrito. And 10 is Pepes. But a great race so far. Really enjoyed it actually. Over the line then, lap 22 begins, and we are pretty much in the same situation as before. TSMO leads the Grand Prix on 3 lap-old mediums, and he has to now make them last another 10 laps. So 13 lap-old they will be come race end, and then he's going to be the race winner if it goes that way. Chris behind him with a 3-second time penalty. Although all the drivers behind that have got warnings, but not a single driver without a warning today. There's drivers without penalties, but there is a lot of warnings building up for drivers, unfortunately, and definitely some penalties coming their way soon. Luco, Lerchi and Clapland all on 2 warnings, meaning 1 more and a 3-second penalty comes their way. TSMO with only 1 warning in the whole 22 laps we've had so far. It is looking really strong from him and definitely the better driver today. But lap 23 of 32. And we look behind then, Luco right at the backside of Chris. These guys at the back are fighting really nicely. They may have been left by one of the Ferraris, but these guys still have each other to battle with, and they're giving it a good go so far. P3, Luco then, with front right wing damage, unfortunately. And you'll see the end plate actually be slightly off there. The front right end plate, yes, is gone for Luco. So he's giving it a really good go today, considering that he's got, you know, half a wing pretty much. So he's doing well. He's doing really well. Running in third. Lerchi behind him, keeping him behind at the moment. But 9 laps remaining of this Grand Prix. And we cross the line. How fast do these laps go? They really do. We've got a McLaren now coming for an overtake, ladies and gentlemen. Gaining all the way down in towards the left-hand side. This is going to be an overtake then for the Ferrari. Tries it, gets shut off. The McLaren gets a bad exit through there due to having to defend so hard. Lerchi, though, still not able to get through from that. Well, look at this battle then unfolding for the drivers. Clapland P4, Luco 3, Chris in P2. It's the Mercedes against the 2 McLarens then as they make their way round the left-hand side there then. And turn 16 through to 17. And the final turn of turn 18 then here in Imola, and up towards the last, sorry, no, turn 19, final turn then, as they cross the line. Over the line then to start lap 25. TSMO has absolutely checked out this evening. He absolutely has, and flying in front. It has been a great race from him, and once again, pure domination. It's looking like we're going to speak to him in the interview room, but we're not entirely sure who it's going to be in the following places. Second and third is up for grabs, and they are battling out like their life depends on it. Luco trying to get ahead of Chris here. He's not letting him through at all, not letting him get a whiff of anything, as the two McLarens are giving it everything to make that pass on the McLaren, on the Mercedes. No move just yet, but a long straight coming up in a moment. Look at this then, Luco on the Mercedes into turn 2. Look at that, he makes him go around then. The Mercedes hits the wall into the barrier signage. Chris down into P5, everybody. Contact for the second time we've seen in that same corner today. And Chris now loses places. 5th place is his with a time penalty as well. Clapler and Lurchie without penalties. Luco does have one, which means he will lose out to Clapper and his teammates at the moment. And Lurchie is looking like he'll be getting 3rd place. Hard-braking then for the McLaren, gaining on his teammate who does have a time penalty. Clapperton with 2 warnings to his name, nearing a penalty too, the same as Lurchie. He's got to try and keep this clean. Here we go then, looking for a move on his teammate. He goes round the outside today, into P2 goes Clapperton. Black and white flag then for Greed in P7. Who gets a time penalty. Mike Pro with 9 warnings now as well. Wow, that is a pretty big number. 9 warnings then for Mike Pro. 9-second penalty at the moment. But yeah, like I mentioned, Elixir Motorsport, of course, has got on board. But if there's anybody else in the chat that is interested in commentary, I've got the perfect course for you that we've just started up. So let me know if you're interested. I will send it your way because we're just trying to get the ball rolling with it. That will be 4 people we've got in there so far. And I believe, you know, once we get to 5, 6, 7 or 8, it's going to start really rolling. So we're doing well. We're doing well. And, you know, have a chance to be somewhere from the start and, you know, build it up with us. It will be a great, great thing. 5 laps remaining then. IFR, the cleanest league where everyone gets a penalty. JK, what a lead this is. Absolute spectacle. You are completely right, mate. It is a great league. A lot of warnings, a lot of penalties, but, you know, forgetting about that, the actual racing standards, in my opinion, have been really, really fun to watch. Great overtakes, great battles with the drivers, you know, down the straights and even through the corners where you don't really expect it sometimes. That's been some of the best overtakes today. And with only about 5 laps remaining, we're soon to, unfortunately, wave goodbye to it. But TSMO with an 8.4 second gap, that is a time penalty there for... I'm not entirely sure who just picked up a penalty, actually. It was Luco. Oh, Luco with a time penalty. over the line then. Lap 29 begins, and unfortunately it is very much died down this evening. Not a lot going on for the drivers behind. In the pit lane then goes an Aston Martin of Guru. And maybe he's retiring, or maybe he's just going on for some new tyres as usual. The hard compounds coming off then, 15 lap old. Brand new softs come on, and he comes out of the pits now. In P13 then, back of the grid. Lap 30 starts then, and we have a back marker trying to get through past these front runners in the way here. The Racing Bull of Mike Pro, I believe that is. Black and white flag now for Dom Pedrito and Mike Pro too, with 11 warnings to Mike's name. Dom Pedrito with 11 as well. As Chris then in the pit lane on the new soft compound with only a few laps remaining. Chris on the softs till the end. He was running up so high today, but now in the pit lane, coming out, not really in the fight, unfortunately. It is between Clapton, Luco and Lurchi for the top finishing two positions of 2 and 3. TSMO is completely checked out then and out of this race really now. He's going to win it, you know, very nicely indeed for him. He's done a good job at the minute, but he does have to round it off. He does have to finish the job. Well, the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix begins then. Clapton running into, no time penalty for him, just has to keep his nose clean for another lap or two. And he's done a good job so far, but one warning does get him a 3-second penalty. At the minute, he is going to be the driver ahead in second place. Luco runs in third then with a 3-second penalty. Lurchi is behind with 3.5 seconds the gap. So at the minute, the two McLarens will be in 2 and 3 because Lurchi is further than 3 seconds behind. He's going to have to sort that out if that Ferrari wants to be on the podium places as the laps are running out now. Well, here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. The final lap of the Grand Prix begins. It is TSMO as your leader in the Ferrari. And you absolutely cannot fault the man at all, can you? You really can't. He has driven a sensational race. And that is his race story. Start position 1. He currently leads. Only one warning. And one corner cut. He's doing extremely well. He's kept it so clean this evening. And it is, you know, definitely looking like it is going to go his way come race end. But what a race it has been. And this Ferrari of TSMO dominating once again. The first round of the season in Silverstone, taking the win really easily. Did a sensational job with that, and now today it's going to do the exact same thing. Lap 32, And the Ferrari, the prancing horse, is going to come up towards the line and here in Imola win in the home country of the team. TSMO wins the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, beating the two McLarens by 8 whole seconds. An incredible drive then as Clapland comes home for 2, Luco comes home for 3, and that is your podium places, ladies and gentlemen. That is who we're going to be speaking to in the interview room come race end. TSMO 1, Clapland 2, Luco 3. Lurchi then finishes in 4, Lavexi will finish 5, but Chris is behind him on softs, and Lavexi with a penalty. Chris is going to get this place here, then his back end sliding. Chris goes through into P5. He takes the position away. Lavexi 6, Greed then will take 7. With Don Pedrito taking 8 unless the penalties outweigh themselves. Now the two Hasses are fighting through. Another great race said by Elixir, and I agree. Really good action from the drivers on the Saturday evening, and well done to everybody here for that, because they should be proud of that. What a race. What a race indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Here you go then. TSMO wins the Grand Prix tonight with 42 minutes on the clock. Clapland then in second place, joined by his teammate Luco in third. Absolutely brilliant race then from them. That is your top 3, as now we'll get into your post-race interviews. Fastest lap interview. Unfortunately not, mate. Unfortunately we don't do that. I like you trying, though. I like the try. As I'm going to now get quickly set up as much as I can for this. Racer A is actually Pete, mate. I've got to thank you. You're the guy that told me about Racer A, mate. I never knew about it. I never, ever knew about it. And it is peak. It's absolutely brilliant. But let's have a look then. We need to tell TSMO hi from me. I'll do my best, mate. I'll do my best. Let's have a look in the server then. See if we can get the top 3 speaking to us tonight. Hopefully we can. But a really, really exciting race today. Right, let's have a look then. Interviews. I'm going to start the stage. And the top 3 can join us in here. No one joining us yet, but be patient, because we will get them in here soon. But I hope you enjoyed the session, everybody. I really, really do. It was really fun. TSMO will not be speaking to us, unfortunately. It's all good, though. See if anybody else wants to have a chat in the interview room. Still waiting for some top three, but like I mentioned, hopefully you enjoyed the session tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It is good to see you all join us in the chat. We've had a nice viewing in here, and I should be back next Saturday. Don't think I have anything. Actually, next Saturday I might not be available. I've just remembered because I'm away at Silverstone, um, working as a mechanic. But the week after I should be all good. Waiting for some interviewers then. One in the audience. See who we got. TSMO. Don't think he's interviewing though. Who else do we need? Let's have a look. W Mechanic, yes. Right, my apologies, guys. My apologies. We're going to bring in TSMO first. Speak to him. Hello, mates. It's good to speak to you again. Well, got to admit, it was a bit of a domination from you again, wasn't it? I believe winning by 8.8 seconds or something like that. Just 8.5 was it? Well, just talk us through your race. How do you feel about that one? Well, oh, my bad. I've got the interviews muted on the stream. There we go. It's back on. Well, in terms of the track, was there any particular corner or sector that you were, struggling with the most this evening, or were you pretty happy with all of it?
Happy with all of it.
Fair
Uh,
enough.
really loved the first sector with how much you can cut the chicanes
Yeah.
there. But yeah,
And one last thing as well, I've got to say it's impressive to see a lot of drivers are picking up so many warnings and penalties. I believe through that race you only picked up one warning. Um, so
yeah.
how do you do it? What's the trick?
I actually I don't know. I think I got that one warning while I was in the dirty air. So yeah, that was one good thing for me. I rarely had any dirty air, so what if it it was easier to not get any.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. I rarely get any in general. Canada was the odd one out, but that's just that shit track.
fair enough. Well, great result from you again, mate, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Go Clapland next.
Hello.
Hello, it's good to speak to you. Well, second place at the end of that, I believe. Give us your thoughts on the race, mate.
I'm very happy with the end result. I did my best, I think. That was all I could do, be honest. It was tough to overtake the other drivers after P5 in qualifying. I invalidated my lap again. But I'm very happy, and it's not my favorite track, so yes, I think Bahrain is the next track, so I hope that can be I can be near to the top.
Yeah. Well, in qualifying here in Imola, you said you started P5, I believe you just said, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, was there any particular corner or sector you were struggling with, and the track as a whole? Were you struggling to get a lap together?
I think the first sector is tricky because
Yeah.
of the track limits. I got blocked a bit twice in quali in the first sector, so I had one last lap, and I pushed a bit too hard. So yeah, but I'm very happy.
Yeah. And in the race, in terms of your strategy, are you happy with the strategy you went on today, or is there anything you would have changed if you did it differently?
I think the hard medium was the perfect strategy.
Yeah.
I could push it at the end, and yeah, it was very good.
I'm glad to hear it. Thank you very much for your time, mate, and well done. Second place. Great result.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to Luco for the final interview, and then we can end off. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, mate. Good to speak to you. Third place at the end of the race. What is your thoughts on the entire event tonight?
The race was not easy for me, because overtaking was really hard, with the one straight, and the wing damage at the end, it was not easy for me.
Yeah.
But Clubden and myself, we do good together, and yeah.
With the tyres and strategy, what was the tyre degradation like around here? Was the wear worse than you expected, or was it okay?
The tires, the wear was really good. The hard medium. At the end, I can push with the medium tire, and yeah, tire wear were good.
Good stuff. Well, great results today, of course, on the podium. Going into the next race, do you think you're going to be able to keep up this this podium streak?
Yes, the next race I will win this.
Yes. That's what you want to hear. Confidence.
This is the mindset for me.
That's it. Well, I'm glad to hear it, mate. Love that you are confident in yourself. And third place is brilliant. I'm looking forward to see you win the race next week. But
Yes.
great result, and thank you very much for your time. Have a good evening.
Goodbye.
Right then, thank you very much to you guys in the audience. Have a good evening. See you later. And now to the stream. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Got your post-race interviews coming up very, very soon. And post-race highlight reel coming up very, very soon. And I will get that made as soon as